Smiles Television Talk Show. When you come back. Smiles Television Talk Show. I love our new intro, and I need you to tell me if you like it too. Welcome to Smiles. I'm Stephanie Miles, and we have a great broadcast for you today. Yes, we do. This is our new season. And today I'm going to be talking with two young ladies who allowed me to be on their radio broadcast. Seated to my immediate right is Melvina Epps.
Hello.
And right next to Melvina is Tasha Stowers.
Hello.
These young ladies, you know, we're all in media. We're going to transfer them now from radio to television.
Yes.
Radio to television. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for
And
your
it's good.
invite.
Now, Melvina is my homegirl.
Yeah.
And she's bringing in Tasha from the west side over here in St. Louis. So you're my homegirl now, too.
Well, thank you for having us. We really enjoyed looking forward to the show today.
You know what? I love your broadcast, and we had so much fun.
Yes,
Tell
we
everybody
did.
what you do and who you are. We're going to start with you, Melvina.
Okay, my name is Melvina Epps. I am from East St. Louis, Illinois, and I am the first half of Think About It on My Talk Nation Radio, which is actually located here in Missouri off of Page Avenue. So, you know, I enjoy what I do. I am married and mother of 6.
Wow. Wait,
yes.
all of your own?
No, thank God.
Okay, well, but they're yours.
But they are
They're
mine.
yours.
They are mine.
Okay.
And
one way or another.
Yes. And actually, today is my oh my gosh, 11th wedding anniversary.
Today is your anniversary.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations!
Thank
and
you.
know what? We're gonna and thank your husband because he's on camera.
Yeah.
For us today. You know, and
Worked.
we want to thank him. And Tasha, how are you?
I'm fine.
Tasha, you were so gracious when I was on the broadcast, and I'm going to try to show the same to you here. Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Well, my name is Tasha Stowers. I live in Florissant, Missouri. I am the mother of 4 children.
4, okay. That's a little bit better.
And it's 3 boys and 1 girl. I work at Barnes Jewish Hospital inside of the Neuro ICU.
Wow.
And I do the talk show with Mevlvina.
And the name of your talk show is?
Think About It.
And it's on My
Talk Nation.
My Talk Nation. Think about it on My Talk Nation. How did you come up with the concept?
Well, I personally, I used to do a blog, I guess, on Facebook.
Okay.
And a young lady, a friend of mine, asked me, you know, whenever I was not online, she would ask, well, what's going on? Why won't you need to put something out there every day? And it was just, you know, thoughts that were going through my head, and being a mother. And at this time, I think I was working at SIUE in an educational program, and just watching children grow and, you know, seeing what they were going through. Decisions that they were making, you would, as a parent, you sit up there and say, think about your decisions.
Okay.
So that's pretty much where it came from, the concept itself, think about it. So she told me, you know, to put more out there, and that's what I did. And then Tasha and I were interviewed. Well, no, Tasha was actually interviewed.
Tasha, your husband was already involved, or?
No, her husband.
Her husband.
My
okay.
husband.
Okay.
Involved. And he had me and my husband on his show. It was talking about Christian dating, no sex before marriage.
Oh, okay.
So we were talking about how we courted and we did everything that the Bible told us to do. And so I was sitting there, I was like, Melvina, we can do this. And that's how Think About It came up. We talked about everyday, real life situations.
And you know what? That's what got my attention and helped me to really enjoy your broadcast. You don't just take the mundane. You take real issues that we deal with, and you give it a Christian perspective. Is it always a Christian perspective?
We try to.
We try to.
We try to keep Christian based. We tell we are not Bible scholars or anything like that, but we try to give them a point of view from a Christian standpoint on how to do things and to think about everything that you do. Because behind everything that you do, there's consequences. So you need to sit back, relax, and think about what it is that you're going to do.
And pretty much that's what it is. Think About It was born, actually, it's a little over 2 years, close to 3 years ago. And like I said, Tasha and her husband were there, and with her saying that, we actually, before we even start broadcasting, the day we were to go on the air, I think we froze up.
Wow.
It was funny because we sat and we talked, and then all of a sudden, when they told us to actually begin to broadcast, we looked at one another and like, what are we going to say?
But you know what? That's the great thing about what you're doing, that you both had other lives. You had your family, and you were already doing something else, and you had the mind of God gave you the mind to get on the air. So that's encouragement for other women, for other, not just women, other individuals who know they have something to share and just need a means by which to do it. Now, your website is myradionation.com.
Yes.
myradionation.com.
Yes.
And in order for people to listen to your station, how do they go about doing that?
They can actually log on to, they can go to My Radio Nation, and there's actually a tab that has the different types of shows. They click on My Talk Nation.
Okay.
At the top of the page, you have a series of, you have a list of items on that page, and you click on programs, and then you have a drop menu. Click on My Talk Nation, and then it will bring you to our page, and just click the, there's an icon that tells you how to click and listen to the show. And we air every Sunday at 4:30 p.m.
Every Sunday at 4:30.
When we are on the air, we broadcast at 4:30 p.m. on Sundays.
Okay.
However, I'm hoping that will change, but you know, I'll let the Lord take over. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but I do look forward to trying to think about it from radio to television, because I think the world needs to hear what we have to say. They need to understand that ladies such as ourselves are able to bring about a change. And, you know, if we can do it, as you stated earlier, everyone else can do it. I mean, our lives are no more different. We're not as rich as anyone. We're not as poor as anyone. We just, these things that God put before us need to be talked about. And so.
And you know what I was going to say, and Tasha, this is a whole new concept, pretty much. Well, it's new for me. My children have to teach me on the computer and how to even download my YouTubes and all of that. But we're in a whole new era now.
Oh, yes.
Because this is taking radio somewhere else. How do you feel about that? Is that a plus or not?
I think it's a plus because a lot of people now are on the internet. And they go on for any and everything. A lot of talk shows are on the internet. Even celebrities, they have things that's going on the internet. So people will definitely tune in. And once it get out there and they start hearing, then of course the next person to tell somebody, and somebody to tell somebody, and then you just have this big audience. And at one point I think we kind of got disencouraged because we wasn't.
Why?
Because we wasn't getting a lot of feedback. And so we had to.
But you know, you're going out all over the world. It's not just a local thing. This is a worldwide broadcast.
Yes. We had a lady that called in one day, and she was talking about, she just gave us a testimony, and it just brought tears to our eyes. And she was just saying that she didn't even know, she just clicked on it. And
I think what happened was Tasha and I looked at one another and said, "Did you call her, or
did you tell her to call in?
Did you tell her to call in?" And so I was like, "No," but you have people who do listen to us, and they extend an invitation to others. And it just so happened this day, I don't think anyone we knew knew her, but she was blessed by that broadcast that day, and it motivated us to continue.
Good.
However, we wanted to just take a step back and actually look at the show and which way it was going, and really focus on getting back into our prayer life, and so we could bring about a better show for the radio world, because it is just very important for people to understand that God is real.
That's right.
You know, He's very real.
You know what? We have on Smiles Television Talk Show something called the Round Table. And we take hot topics and issues, and I'm always coming from a Christian perspective, and everyone on the panel may not be necessarily. But I think that'll be something good for you guys to join in sometime and come be a part of our round table.
Oh, wow.
What,
All right.
what do you think has been your hottest topic so far? If you had to think about the best show or the most interesting show that you've done, what's been the hottest topic? Which got you the
Wow.
best feedback?
I don't even know.
I know you weren't prepared for that.
Wow, I can't think because
I know what it was. It was when I was on there with you.
Well, you know what, you're right.
Oh, you caught me reading my Monitor newspaper again. I try to read my Monitor newspaper as often as I can because the Monitor newspaper in East St. Louis, Illinois keeps us abreast of activities going on in our families, with our friends, in the state, the country, and even the world. We support the Monitor because they've been in business since 1963. They know the newspaper business. Support the Monitor newspaper right here in East St. Louis, Illinois. Now let me get back to reading my Monitor newspaper. Welcome back to Smiles Television Talk Show. I'm sitting here with two great guests who have a radio broadcast that you need to tune into called Think About It. Yes. Think About It. How can people tune into your broadcast, Melvina and Tasha?
www.mytalknation.com.
www.mytalknation.com. Okay, and it's really a podcast, right?
No, we haven't gone to podcast just yet.
Okay.
However, when they do log on to the radio through the internet, if they want to become part of the show live, they can do so by dialing,
Well, they can go to www.mytalknation.com. Okay.
And there's a number that will.
They'll tell them what to do from there.
Okay,
well, that's excellent. Tasha, you have 4 children. How old are they?
16, 13, 14.
Do they listen? Are they listening to your broadcast?
No.
No. You know what? That's funny because my kids don't watch mine either.
No, they are teenagers. So the 13-year-old will be 14 in December. So it'll be 3 14-year-olds and a 16-year-old.
Okay. And knowing that you all take very hot topics, I want to just throw some things out to you now. You know, the Michael Brown incident. We got Ferguson going on. You got Bill Cosby. You got just a lot of things going on in our nation today.
Ray Rice.
And say it again.
Ray Rice.
Oh wow. So let's just pick one. What are your thoughts on the latest the grand jury decision?
I live in the Ferguson Florissant School District, and I had to sit down and actually have a conversation with my boys and try to explain to them exactly what was going on because they were. The younger one, AJ, was very upset when he heard that the officer was not being indicted. And of course, they're missing school, so he's not liking that. He thinks he's going to be in school until July. But it's a very touchy subject with young kids because they don't understand a lot. You know, we try to teach them that you have to obey the law and there's consequences behind everything that you do. And I think that now with the whole situation, everyone is taking and making it into a race issue when it's not a race issue.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
It's about every day. People are just tired of the police abusing their authority.
You know what? I look at this, and I'm going to let you talk, Melvina, too. But in my looking at it, it may not be a race issue per se, but I think this issue has brought to a head many issues.
Right.
And I think all of them need attention. Sometimes you hear people say, well, you don't want to just start talking about black on black crime because, you know, we need to deal with this police abuse. And we also need to deal with our youth and training our youth in terms of respect. Not saying that Michael Brown didn't, because I don't know what happened that day. But I think this brings the whole gambit of problems in our community. What are your thoughts on that?
I will say this. We were with relatives yesterday evening, and a cousin of mine spoke to a young man that our aunt, they blessed him. And what she informed the young men of the family was, she said she told them that they were important. Their lives mattered. And she directed to them as young black men, because apparently, from my point of view, a lot of young black men feel that their lives don't matter, not just because of this, but because you have parents that have raised their children to tell them that they're no good, that you're nothing, and they talk down to them. So as they grow up, they feel that they aren't anything, and they think the only way out of the ghetto is either I'm gonna be a drug dealer, a rapper, or something like that. So their mindset is that if I'm growing up in this environment, I'm nothing. They won't do anything to create a better lives for themselves, let alone the children that they bring into this world.
We're not going to solve all the issues overnight.
No.
We're not going to solve them in the meetings within a week or two. But what do you think can really be done to effect a real change in our community? In the black community, in the white community, in the community, period.
I think everybody needs to start coming together as people, not just black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, or whatever. They need to all start coming together as people and respect each other's opinions and respect each other, period. And a lot of young people have no respect for authority, and a lot of them, you heard, they're like, I'm not afraid to die. But it's so sad, because behind everything that happens, whatever you do affects your family. And even with the situation with Mike Brown and the officer, I would pray for both of them all the time, because not only does Michael Brown's family need prayer, but the officer's family need prayer also, because just because of what he did, now his family has to deal with the fact that he did this.
Right.
And the only way everything is going to come together is everybody needs to just start praying and looking to God for everything that we do.
And I agree with that. I suggest that it's a sin problem more than a race problem.
Change of heart.
Right.
That's right.
Change of heart.
It's a change of heart.
And in the beginning, I actually watched the funeral service, and prior to that, you had all of the aristocrats, I would say, come in town, and no one spoke anything about the heart of man. And our pastor actually spoke about it during Sunday service, not necessarily talking about the people who were speaking. However, the bottom line was, everyone that had a comment, no person that was of authority said anything about the heart. That was, I guess, was in the, I don't even want to say religious, but church members, church pastors, anything like that. No one said anything about the heart. And see, what we need to understand is that I believe the scripture says that our heart is sinful by nature.
Deceitfully wicked.
Is deceitfully wicked.
And you don't know, and that might not be verbatim, but it's something like the heart is deceitfully wicked, and who can know it? Something along.
Yeah, so knowing that when we all are born, we're born into sin.
Right.
And when you grow up, or as you're growing, you're learning and you're being taught. So if you're growing up in a society that's telling you now, children, you do not have to obey your parents. You don't have to obey any authority. You don't have to obey your teachers. So their heart is being is being hardened. And so now you have a generation of children who really, in a sense, have no heart. They have no love. Yeah. So.
But Tasha, at your age, and I'm not trying to tell everybody your age, you just look like you're so young.
Oh, I'm 39.
Okay, you don't mind, and you don't look 39. But do you have your peers or the young women that you're involved with, your views when you express them to them? Do you have a lot of people who seem to agree with you, or are you finding that many don't?
Oh my goodness.
She calls me the vent a lot. Just put it that way.
Even at work, I work around a bunch of younger, women, and trying to get to them is like almost beating your head against the concrete wall because of television, because of the videos, and they think that, well, I have to dress this way or I have to act this way, and I have to try to tell them, you have to leave something for the imagination. And a grown man, do not want just a pretty face, because your body can go away, but you need to be intelligent. You need to go back to school.
Your mind will be with you forever.
You need to think. And then on top of that, everything you do, when you have children, you have to realize that it's not about you anymore.
Right.
And
that is
think
such
about
a good point.
The consequences when you lay down with these men and you knew they wasn't no good from the beginning, and then you get mad because you got a baby by them and they ain't doing nothing.
You know what? We do so much talk about the absentee father and what the dads are not doing, and we understand that maybe some are not.
We have mothers that's the same way now.
That's right. What about the mothers? What about us? And you know what? We have the opportunity to create a whole new world. It's in our hands.
Yes.
We're the mothers. We're the nurturing factor. What's going on with the mothers?
We've done shows on that, and I don't think we had. That's probably why we got discouraged, because all the women stopped calling because they were against probably what we were saying. But the truth be told, I also do a relationship show, and in between the two, I have more men calling in, because the women, for some apparent reason, have fallen for this idea that everything is their fault. You can't
meaning everything is the man's fault?
Well, not so much as everything is the man's fault. However, all the decision when it comes to choosing your mate is just our fault. Well, you knew. I mean, it's similar to what Tasha said, but you need to understand that you both make choices.
That's right.
You both make choices. But when you hear them speak, they take all of the blame. And that's not so. I mean, we do have to be wise in our decisions. That's bottom line. Be wise in the decisions that you make. But, really pay attention. If his pants sagging,
keep moving.
Keep moving. To me, his wallet too low. He can't take care of himself.
But to us, that's common sense.
But
we can look at that.
The younger generation is not. That's cute to them.
Right.
And even when I was coming up, and the pants was sagging, if you walked up to me and you could be nice looking and everything, but when I looked at your pants, I was like,
I have a quick story. Our two oldest sons did a study at their school. It was just something that when the sagging started, they were like, let's try it. Let's try this. Let's see how it works. So one day they went to school, their pants were sagging and everything. They said the little girls were all over them.
Really?
And so the next day they went to school in uniform, because they went to a charter school. Uniforms up, dressed nice, looking nice, everything. They said the little girls pretty much shied away. And they were shocked, because even then, I mean, it was a little over 5 years ago. But the bottom line is, the young women are fascinated in that type of behavior, or that style, and so they were wondering, what in the world, what happened?
Well, I wonder that where, as women, have we failed? Where have we failed as mothers?
With the upbringing of our children, and with today's society, they have this: you can't discipline your child, and if they do, call 911. Now, they should have passed that child abuse law a long time ago when I was there. Because I think I was getting hit with everything but the kitchen sink. And I turned out fine. But now it's almost like you are scared to discipline your children. And then when something happened, then here come the law saying, well, why didn't you discipline your child? Well, you trying to take discipline away from me, and you want to let the streets discipline them. No, as long as you are living under my roof, you're going to do as I tell you to do. But I'm trying, and I've made mistakes, because even with parenting, there is no handbook with how to become a parent.
That's right.
It's one of those.
Except for the Bible.
Yeah, except for the Bible.
Except for the Bible.
You live and you learn, and we're going to make mistakes, and being parents and make mistakes in life, period. But as women, it's like we need to get back to that, to go back into trying to reach out to our younger generation and to teach them, that in the Bible, it talks about being a virtuous woman. And that's what a man, not a boy, but a man is looking for. And it's in this microwavable generation, y'all need to learn how to cook. Everything don't go in the microwave.
and you know.
You know what, wait, we said we were going to take some real hot topics. We were talking about Bill Cosby and everything else, and we've geared away. But this is a good conversation because, we need to address women more. We talk about our men so much and what they're not doing. Yes. What about us? What are we doing and what are we not doing?
And I think, I don't take a different take on that. However, I go back to what happened to the man being the man. We've allowed these boys to take on the role as a man, and the men are just stepping back, they're manipulating the younger women.
And you're right.
And so that's what I think. That's why our show it. I guess I have such a hard time with making friends. I'm not trying to make friends. I'm trying to educate.
I'm your friend.
And well, thank you, darling. I appreciate that. So, but really, to me, it goes back to God created man first. We are their helpmate. If my husband was to talk to me any kind of way, then that breaks my spirit. It makes me feel as if I'm nothing. And then I start doing things that a woman shouldn't do. If he starts telling me, my appearance right now, if he was to come back and tell me I didn't look good, he wanted me to look like something other, then is that my fault? Is it my fault or is it his fault? I mean, who's responsible there? Because he's supposed to lead me, but if I'm, I guess, 25 or 30 years old and he may be a few years younger, I mean, who's at fault? What am I supposed to do besides learn and then I guess, let's say, because everybody don't read scripture. Right. Everybody doesn't read the word like that.
But you know what? I see why you girls have a talk show, because you can talk.
Yeah. Sorry.
But our time is winding on down. And I'm going to ask you, I ask most of my guests, because we have you on camera, will you come back?
Yes.
Of course, yes.
Okay,
yes,
because I would love to have you back, and I want to come back on your radio broadcast as well.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
And once again, tell our audience how they can tune in to your broadcast. It's
www.mytalknation.com.
www.mytalknation.com.
Yes.
Tasha Stowers and Melvina Epps. Yes. Thank you so much for coming to Smiles Television Talk Show. And thank you for saying you'll come back, because we have you on camera. Oh. And one day I was getting ready to get off the show and do like this, but I realized that's that Wendy lady does that. So we're going to do like this and raise our hands and say we thank God for you.
Yes, Lord.
Yes. And thank God for you. And I want you to tune in to Smiles Television Talk Show every Monday at 11:30 a.m. on Charter Cable Channel 191, and again on Monday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. on Charter Cable Channel 984. We reach roughly 300,000 people in Missouri and Illinois, and we want more viewers, so tell people about Smiles. You can go to my website, www.smilestv777. www.smilestv777. Tune in again and remember that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. He was crucified, he was buried, and he rose on the third day. Confess that with your mouth. Believe it in your heart. And the Bible says that thou shalt be saved. Keep smiling. You look better when you smile.
If you love him, never doubt him.